riddle on the screen and a bop in the beat. Crystal's got a theory and she's bringing the heat. With a playlist rolling and a case to crack, she's digging through the weird and she ain't looking back. Crystal's crime and music. Hey, hey, hey. Word little whispers and a beat that slays. She's grooving through the rumors, dancing through the doubt. Hop on the stream and help her figure it out. She's got headphones on and snacks in hand. She's sleuthing in slippers, ain't it grand? Crimes and chords, it's a curious mix, but she'll remix that mystery just for kicks. Crystal's crime and music, let's roll. Talking strange old stories with a heart and soul. From cryptic clues to a disco track, she's chasing down weirdness and never looks back. She don't solve crime, just talks and vibes with a keyboard click and detective drive. She's got music moods and wild ideas and a soft spot for victims through the years. Is that a ghost? Or just bad Wi-Fi? Did that dude lie? Or is it all a sigh? Whatever the twist, Crystal's on the screen with a snack, a song, and a mystery meme. So grab your tea and your favorite chair. She's cracking up theories out of thin air. One part groove, one part hum. It's Crystal's show, let's have some fun. Crystal's crime and music, tune it loud, where the silly gets spooky and the beats are proud. She's laughing, guessing, and spilling the tea. Come vibe with the queen of crime and melody. There's a riddle on the screen and a bop in the beat. As you walked away, I called out your name. It was at that very moment I knew I would not be the same. You left me broken all alone, and now you will not pick up your phone. Did you think that would get me feeling down? No, that made me drive all around that old small town. Did you think I would drown in your pain? Hell to the no, let me explain. I drove up to that old dive bar on the corner of a new tomorrow. I thought I was going in to drink away my sorrows. Instead I danced the night away. Boom bopping, bar hopping, body rocking, foot stomping all night long. As you drove on by that old glowing neon sign, you see me walking in with someone new. You thought you left me broken and alone, waiting for me to pick up that damn phone. Did you think I would move on? It was a new day, you left for me tomorrow. Hell to the no, let me explain. I drove up to that old dive bar on the corner of a new tomorrow. I thought I was going in to drink away my sorrows. Instead I danced the night away. Boom bopping, bar hopping, body rocking, foot stomping all night long. Instead I danced the night away. Boom bopping, bar hopping, body rocking, foot stomping all night long.
We'll cut it a little short. Like my video, guys, that's my lyrics, my song. So the first thing I'm going to do tonight, as promised, is I'm going to go over a little tiny more of Tanya Cash's story. She's going to be interviewing on the 18th in the morning with me on my YouTube channel here. I went over the questions I'm going to ask her and a little bit of her story, but we're playing catch up. I got 3 short videos here, maybe 10 minutes total, that we're going to watch before we move on to Blue Solo Cup. All right.
Story, first of all, is incredible, and she survived and should be a beacon of hope to everyone, because I think it's really easy to think that once someone disappears that they're gone forever and kind of write them off as dead. But I'm here, Tanya's still here, we're not dead, do not give up. But also beyond that, I feel like her story is a perfect example of a vulnerable child where a predator finds her and grooms her. And the team works so hard in trying to show the different steps of grooming and how it happens in layers. It isn't just you see someone and you take them and that's grooming. I mean, it's a whole process. You know, it's identifying a vulnerability, it's isolating that child, befriending them, making sure that you are that number one person in their life, giving gifts, making them rely on you, turn to you always number one, until eventually you can do whatever you want without any fear of repercussion, and knowing that that child will always keep their mouth shut. And I felt like Tanya's story just illustrated that so perfectly. And it's an area that I feel like is often misunderstood.
And undefined. I think people hear the word grooming and they just don't get it, and they think it's white noise, and they really don't know that depth and meaning that you just put to it. Because I think about you a lot and what you endured for 9 months, basically wanting to survive every single day and having 1 or 2 people who were responsible for that survival. So I think you're the perfect person to get into this project. I also think, what was it like for you to sit down with somebody who had such a similar experience, such a rare and similar experience to your own experience? What's it like to sit down and speak with someone about that?
For me, I mean, it was I just felt like we understood each other on an emotional level. I mean, when she was talking about how she felt, different experiences, that maybe some of the details of our own personal experiences are different, but a lot of the emotions she expressed, I was like, yeah, I know exactly how that feels. I know exactly what you're talking about. That was my life. That was my story as well. And so that, for me, I think is also just another reason why sharing these kinds of stories and doing these kinds of projects are so powerful, because for as isolated as people may think that Tanya's story is or my story is, it's actually really not that isolated. It really is more common than any of us would want to believe.
Big differences between you and Tanya as well. Your family, so dedicated, so loving, so moral, so principled, and they never stopped for a second looking for you. Tanya's family, on the other hand, really a difficult upbringing, a father who I think effectively may have blamed her, for her own abduction. How do you come to terms with the differences there and yet the similarities?
I think is one of the most heartbreaking parts of the story. And I think for me, that's why I have chosen this path in my life, because I do have that support. And honestly, I think what it comes down to for victims who really thrive in life after they've survived comes down to that support network, whether you had it before or whether you can find it after. And fortunately for me, I mean, I had both before and I've had after, which I feel like allows me to speak out and to share my story and work on these kinds of projects. And for Tanya, I mean, she did not have that support. And amazingly now she has found a wonderful man and they're happily married, and he supports and loves and adores her the way that she deserves to be supported and loved and adored. And I mean, I think it's just tragedy of life, and actually a story that is far too common.
I always wonder about your path. Not everyone would have the strength to do what you've done with your life, and that is dedicate your life to helping others who are in these vulnerable situations. But I also wonder if you sometimes in your quiet times refer back thinking, God, I wish I had another path. I wish I could have done something so different. I wish none of this was part of my life, and I don't want to do it tomorrow. Like, do you ever sort of just have those moments?
Well, I am only human, of course. I mean, of course I do. But I guess it always just comes back to this is where I feel like I can make the most difference. And I know what it's like being on the other side. And I know what it's like to come back and experience all of the emotions that go along with being a survivor and a victim. And I know how isolated and alone I felt when I came back, even though I was surrounded by love and support. It still is when you go through sexual abuse, when you go through abduction, when you go through that level of manipulation, you still feel like you're alone. And for anyone who is watching this, who has experienced some level of abuse or manipulation or rape or kidnapping, I want them to know that you're not alone. And so I guess I'll just keep on staying on this path.
What an incredible life's purpose. You're a hero. I just adore you, and I'm so proud of you. And I'm just so glad that you are who you are and that you're healthy and adjusted and are doing so much, for other people. Thank you so much for doing this tonight. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Thomas Hose is now a free man after spending 15 years behind bars. He held Tanya Cash captive for a decade inside a McKeesport home. Tanya Cash's worst nightmare has come true.
This nasty, horrible, human monster of a person is getting out. After what he has done, I'm scared that he might do it again.
The man who held her captive for 10 years has been released from prison. Pittsburgh's Action News 4 spoke with Cash last month about how she would feel when he got out. Thomas Hose will now be living in a boarding house in McKeesport. Cash was too upset to talk with us on camera, knowing Hose is a free man.
It's not such a safe world anymore. I know that I'm going to wake up crying, very upset.
Hose spent 15 years in prison for holding Cash captive inside this McKeesport house that he shared with his parents. In 1996, Cash was 14 years old when Hose lured her away from home. He was a security guard at a middle school and was 38 at the time.
Every day he threatened to kill me. Every day.
She thought she would die and even made a will. In 2006, she finally escaped and is now trying to live a fulfilled life.
Through all of these years, though, I've become very resilient. I'm not just a victim. I am a survivor. I survived him.
Hose is registered with state police as a sex offender under the state's Megan's Law. This website lists people who are active sexual offenders. Those on the registry are identified through fingerprinting and photograph submission. Now, under Megan's Law, the sex offender registry is public information. Reporting live in McKeesport, Chandy Chapman, Pittsburgh's Action News 4.
He is getting out, and he is a sexual predator.
Only on 4 tonight, Pittsburgh's Action News full reporter Ashley Zilka speaking exclusively with the McKeesport woman who was held captive and sexually assaulted for 10 years by her school security guard.
That man responsible is being released from prison next month. And Ashley, some awfully strong words tonight from the victim, Tanya Cash.
Yeah, Mike, Tanya Cash is absolutely devastated. On February 9th, her captor will be a free man after serving his maximum 15-year sentence. But Cash tells me that's not enough, and he should be behind bars for life.
This nasty, horrible, human monster of a person is getting out. After what he has done, you know, I'm scared that he might do it again.
Now 40 years old, Tanya Cash tells me she still lives with nightmares from her 10 years in captivity.
Every day he threatened to kill me. Every day.
As the sentence for Thomas Hose comes to an end, those flashbacks are still raw. Lawrence Fisher, attorney and co-author of a memoir of a milk carton kid, says Tanya's case was the first and only time he has ever represented a victim.
I've had many a client, do the crime and do the time. Victims don't necessarily get to move on with their lives. And, I think that Tanya's pretty remarkable, but she still feels the scars.
In 1996, Cash was lured away from home by Hose, a security guard at her middle school in McKeesport. She was 14 at the time. Hose was 38.
He groomed me into running away with him.
Locked away on the second floor of the house Hose shared with his parents, Tanya was forced to use a bucket as a toilet. She even recalls spending 4 years in a closet on Christmas Eve. At one point, she even wrote a will.
I slipped it under the rug.
Wow.
And I put, Tanya was here, because I thought I was going to die.
In 2000, Tanya says Hose allowed her to leave the house for short periods of time.
Tanya Cash was dead. He invented Nikki Diane Allen. And I had a whole new identity. So I didn't know who I was anymore.
Then in March 2006, Tanya escaped, confiding in a local deli owner who called police.
Through all of these years, though, I've become very resilient. I'm not just a victim. I am a survivor. I survived him.
Hose was eligible for parole in 2012, but he was denied. Fisher says that alone was unusual.
So after his 5th year, if he had, shown remorse, if he had rehabilitated himself, he would have been allowed to come back out into the community.
Now, after 15 years, Hose will walk out of prison in exactly 4 weeks, a day.
My husband and I joke that his attorney looks like I've met this guy. I went to meet him in my brother's case. I was hoping to one day be able to afford him to fight my brother's case. But he looks like Ric Flair, don't he? You guys can see what's going on here. So I have this interview on November 18th with Tanya. I went over my questions earlier with you guys. I explained a little bit more about her case. I just want to kind of fill you in every few days until we get her on panel. Her case was quite controversial. I explained that earlier. But yeah, I'm excited. I think for future children, it's important to talk to those who have been rescued, so we can figure out what we're doing wrong and how to cover these cases better. Again, I explained that earlier. All right, moving on. We talked earlier today about when Blue Solo Cup came on my panel, and he was talking about the children he's seen in the road. We talked about footprints, where the footprints went. How Jody Sue was talking about the dog fighters, who is Jeremy Pell and Stephanie, according to Jody Sue. Hey, Moonshine, who is also related to Moonshine Girl. They're divorced. Stephanie is his daughter. Moonshine Girl's ex, her baby daddy too. Okay. So anyways, let's move along and listen to, if you want to follow the footprints part of this, watch the live from earlier today if you haven't done so already. We're continuing. I don't want to get too far into what we already covered today.
It's gonna hit, beat over his head.
Get the bear spray.
I was waiting on him to flip over his ass over his head, because you don't come down a hill like that. No.
Dude, he's like a. He's gonna spray bullhorn. That was Molly. He was gonna spray Molly. Yeah. He was.
And then did you hear Molly say? Did you hear her say, "Come in my face"?
Come in my face. She told him to come in my face and say it, and he wouldn't. He's a big wuss.
Yeah, but no,
In my opinion, I gotta find the damn video. Give me a minute.
She might have do something to him that we've never seen. Like you never know.
I think she'd have picked him up and swung him around.
Like, if I saw her cussing me, I don't think I could close either.
Yeah.
I'd be like, no, I'm all right. I'm sorry.
Okay, hold on. I'm searching. I just seen that video too. I did.
Put in your search, Benny Keith coming down the hill.
Hold on, I gotta get a couple more smokes.
I got it. Good.
I'll be back. I went playing on my computer.
I think I even showed it on my page one time. Oh, look, here's I don't know if this one has the sound. Hold on a minute. This one's fucking funny. It's only 17 seconds. Hold on. Get the bear spray. I'm going to find it. I just seen it.
And then
Okay.
they took it to the restaurant. Was talking about the bear spray.
Yeah, him and Chase. Oh, the best friends. Here's the bear spray. Okay, hold on.
Where you at, Grandis? Where you at, Grandis? I know you're in this motherfucker somewhere. Where you at? Y'all see Grandis? Where Grandis go? Grandis! Where you at, Grandis?
Hold on. I got all kinds of, man, I got to find this one. I have a hidden channel. I don't remember the password to. I got to find it. But I got a video on there. It was dirty. I shouldn't have made it, but if I find it, I'm showing it. What do you think of his beard, Blue Solo?
I like it.
You like his beard?
Yeah.
Do you think he gets stuff stuck in it?
Oh, I'm sure he does.
Yeah. I think that's what I was going to say. I think the white stuff. Hold on. We're going to find this damn video. I just seen it. Oh, what do you think of his beard? Moon? September?
Last time you seen that, Crystal?
Is she still on there? I'm not looking. Oh, she got off. She didn't say. She got off. I'm looking for the... Here it is. Oh, no, that ain't it. That's Fred. Fred Seed. They're in hiding. Dude, I know I got this video. She said search YouTube. We could do that. It would probably be easier. Hold on. He come down gnarling. Oh, here's one. Angle than I have. I think, yeah. This is where it says Molly Golightly tells Benny, come in her face. Shh.
We have First Deployed Drone. We have Dean Robinson that works with EchoSearch on our side. We're coming out and doing stuff with
Who's that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Poor woman.
God damn, you're better in real life. I thought. Holy shit.
And I bet you his penis is what? I don't know, but I bet you his penis is like a little stick with like, I say hard 3 inches.
Why your hand shaking?
With P-shaped balls. What do you think, Blue Solo?
I think you're exactly right. I remember when he came down here with that shit.
Yeah. What did the locals think of that?
Well, they think all of it is like a big old joke and shit like that.
Yeah, he's a joke.
Yeah, he is. But he ain't as big a joke as a bunch of others.
Who else do you think are jokes?
The biggest joke and the biggest phony?
Mm-hmm.
Prayer Garden.
Oh, I agree. I think she's a hypocrite.
Yeah. You know what I'm going to do?
Hmm.
You don't know what I'm going to do to her.
Nothing cruel.
No, yeah, everything clean. But I know everything about her.
Do you? Who is she? Do you know?
I ain't going to tell you.
Damn it.
But I know exactly who she is, where she lives, everything.
Is it Ohio?
Yes, it's Ohio. Yeah, I've been trolling her for like a year and a half.
Yeah. I like the troll, but please promise me. You did promise me you're never going to start rumors again, right?
No, I'm always going to start rumors.
None where it concerns Summer,
Oh no, I won't do. I won't
water
do
in her
that.
cake.
I won't do that.
Okay.
I'll do it. People around her, the phony ass people around her.
Who do you
Just
think's
like
the phony people around her? I think it's a lot of creators. I think
Yeah.
Jody's the phony ass person around her.
I don't speak that name.
No. Do you really know her in real life?
I have nothing to speak about her
Gotcha.
at all, ever.
I'm happy you didn't use tape on your phone tonight.
Tape? What?
That night you come on my panel, you had the piece of tape on there. You didn't want nobody to see you. I think it's better when people are in the open, especially when they're local.
Me too. Yeah, I'm a local. Yeah, I live here.
You're one of them. Man. Yeah. All right. Well, let's see. Let's watch more of Benny coming down the hill being a beast. Get the bear spray. I gotta find the chase video. Look, there's his girlfriend right there, the dog. You see it?
Hey, Crystal.
He was doing a doggy style. Yeah.
Hey, Crystal.
Yeah.
Did you see how I trolled that son of a bitch? You know, that little midget. What was his name? God damn, I can't think of his name. Ernie Shell.
Ernie Shell doesn't need to be trolled. You could be normal with him, Sparkler Pussy. Earl actually likes Jody Sue's name for him.
Yeah, I trolled the shit out of Ernie Shell.
Yeah.
I mean, for a long time.
Do you know him in real life?
Shit, no. I know people that do know him.
Yeah. What can you tell us that you know as a local, without spreading rumors, about the people at the Hay House?
Okay, Ernie Shell is a big old queer, and he had sex with several members of the Hay House. And that ain't no rumor. And I'm talking about ass sex.
Oh my God. He's in jail. He can't defend himself.
Well, it's just true.
We'll ask him about it when he gets out, if he gets out. What is he even in fucking jail for?
He's in jail for let me hold on a second, Crystal. He's in jail for okay, he stole the van accidentally, which I think is bullshit.
How do you accidentally steal a van?
Okay, he was
when he was walking down the street drunk.
Now hold on a second. He was delivering a van. And
yeah, his charges. I read it. He was delivering a van up to Virginia, or no, Ohio.
Somewhere. It don't matter. But anyway, he didn't deliver where he was supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
And
He
they
kept
charged
and went
for
riding in it, and they had to send somebody to come get the fucking van.
Stuff like that. But to me, I think
find it weird that the U.S. Marshals went to get him. I feel like there's more to it. I feel
No,
like
that was U.S.
I know he's in trouble because I personally called the fucking TBI on him.
Listen, the charges he got, he was bullshit. I mean, if he would have went to court and everything, he would be all right. Can I tell you this? Ernie is going to go to court in about a week and a half, 2 weeks.
You think he'll get out?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I mean, yes, ma'am. He will get out because it wasn't no big deal what he did, and he will be out of jail here in about 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think so too. Unless they're going to bring a different set of charges on him.
Well, okay, Crystal.
I just find it weird that they would extradite him and it would be U.S. Marshals that go get him.
Well, what? They ain't no U.S. Marshals.
No, that's who picked him up.
No, the U.S. Marshals didn't.
That's what it says on his record.
No, ma'am. Look it back up. That didn't happen. He got extradited from South Carolina to Kentucky. But his charges and everything, he should be out here in about 2 weeks.
Well,
in
more
2 weeks.
To him.
Okay, listen. Blue Solo says he will be out in 2 weeks. But Blue Solo.
Now the whole world knows he had relations with all the men at the Hay House, right?
What?
I said, now the whole world knows he had relationships with all the men at the Hay House.
Well, you know, who knows about that? But listen, Blue Solo. What? Blue Solo may be full of shit too. You realize that too, don't you?
Yeah. You're a rumor spreader. I know that. We're just
no, I ain't rumor spreader.
Listen, if you want to clown these motherfuckers, I'm all for it. They played so many games in Summer's case and so many others.
Yeah.
Just as long as you don't spread rumors about Summer.
I never have done that. You know I haven't done that.
Yes, you have.
No, I fuck up. I fuck with people.
You told me, and then you said you lied about Andy seeing him at Burger King.
I was drunk as hell that night when I said that.
Right? That's what I'm saying. But just because you're drunk doesn't mean it's okay.
No, I said I was with Andy and shit like that. That ain't no big deal. I mean, I wasn't with
Okay,
Andy.
so we know you don't like Jody Sue. What do you think of Andy?
I don't know nothing about Jody Sue. I ain't never heard that name in my life. But
Okay.
this Andy guy, I don't know nothing about him either.
Okay. Let's watch Benny for a little bit.
Man,
at least it ain't rumors, right?
Yeah. Look shook. Just say, hey, bro, you're obstructing the road, man. It's against the law. You got to move the fuck around.
You're talking about the law, but you got
You can walk quiet.
Yeah. He's threatening a woman, domestic. Well, I wouldn't say domestic, but assault against a woman. He got bear spray, and he's talking about that's illegal. Dude, everything you do is illegal. Your face is illegal.
Hey, wait a minute, Crystal.
Bring your fat ass on here, bitch.
With that belly, look, he got that belly talking about bring your fat ass.
Hey, Crystal, I forgot to tell you. Hey, Crystal, can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Fred Hill is my first cousin.
Well, he sees your face now, so he can confirm or deny.
Yeah.
Right? Do you have a relationship with him? Is this rumors?
No, not sexual. You think sexual or something? No, hell no.
In 5 minutes, he's going to say he made it up. All right, I want to watch Benny. Hold on.
Hold on a second. I got stuff to tell you. Hold on.
Live like a Christmas tree.
Crystal,
let me see your beer.
Yep.
Hey, Crystal, can I tell you?
Keystone.
Hey, Crystal.
Yeah.
Can I tell you who I am, Ken, too, down there?
Who?
You don't want to know, baby.
Who you kin to?
What is 32 minus 1?
Is this going to be a Benny joke? You're going to go 21.
What
My
is
kids do
32?
that, by the way. When they were little, they used to do that.
What is 32 plus 1? Minus 1.
We've done this before, Lou Solo.
What?
The whole math, adding, you trying to play mind fuck games.
Listen, what is 32? Plus 1, minus 1, that told on all.
32. Earl got the fog down.
I had my mute on. I'm sorry. This starts to get really, really deep. He starts to tell us about what he's seen, what possibly might have been the Wells boys that morning. I covered why I'm covering this in my earlier live again. That's number one. Number two, he's been doing this math thing for like a year or two with me in PG's chat and all kinds of places. But in my 2 lives, he was trying to tell me that I'm a missing piece or somebody in my family. Odd.
Going. You know who I think you look like a little bit?
Grandma?
No, Scott H.
No, Grandis. A lot of people tell me that.
No, not Grandis. Scott H. I think you look like Scott H. In my opinion, a little bit.
But what is 32 plus 1?
Scott H. Let's watch Benny.
Sure about that? Bring your motherfucking ass on here.
I'm giving you a hint. Crystal.
I told you you have to come up here and sign it.
32.
You sue me? I got to worry about you. Are you gonna worry about me? No, I'll break your face too. Do it. Step 1.
32 plus 1 minus 1 is 32.
Who is that?
He does
Hold
his
on,
math
no.
shit all the time. This is not the first time. God, I find you amusing, dude.
32 should have been 33 plus
But it was
1.
64.
No.
29?
No.
Say it again.
32
71.
plus 32 plus 1.
68.
He's done.
What is 32 plus 1?
122, 9, 7, 6.
33, right?
Yeah.
Can't
Minus
you
1
do
is
that?
32.
32 plus 1 is what?
But you said 32 plus 1 minus 1.
Right.
I got it right. Okay. Benny.
No, come on. I'm trying to talk to you.
All right. I got a question. I got stuck in front. Yeah. He puts it out last night. What's it out?
One of them looking at him holding his pants if he's grabbing his pecker. You think he plays you ain't worried about that pecker? Ernie might be, huh?
Fuck little Ecker.
Hey, what's 62 plus 3?
Okay, what is okay, this is a riddle. This is a riddle, Crystal.
Go ahead.
I've always loved you. I've always
I know.
loved you. This is a riddle. God dang, I can't. You're smart. I can't believe you. Hold on, wait a minute. 32 plus
Hi,
1
Bella.
It's 33, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, dokie. Okay, what is this? Is all serious.
It's gonna be clipped.
15. Listen, please help me. 15. 14 minus 15 is equals what?
Minus 1.
Got it. Okay. 32 plus 1 equals what?
33.
Okay. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. No. Listen. I'm telling you something. Listen. Okay. 32 plus 1 is 33, right? Who is the missing one? Who is the missing one?
And what? What are they missing from?
The one that sits in a trailer in the dark on Ben Hill Road.
Jody Sue?
I don't know nothing about that lady.
She sits in the dark in her trailer all the time, shitting in toxic poop barrels.
I don't know nothing about that lady. Never heard of her.
Is she the missing one? Oh, he disappeared. Here comes the mysterious. His name's still there. That's so weird. Oh. Let's go back to Benny. That was a fun math lesson.
Why did he shut his phone off?
I don't know what he did.
Last night, come into my face, please.
I apologize. He was on a time after this. This is not the live I wanted to show you guys. So I'm going to have to go back up on a hunt. Flies, the one I'm looking for is the one he's talking about, the morning of Summer's disappearance. Someone in my chat earlier helped me find this one, but this isn't the one I'm looking for. So I really do apologize, but it was still a good refresher. Okay, moving along. Pell. I could only find the one interview I've shown a couple times, but I think it's important. Thank you, Flies, so much. You're a huge help. It had to have been after October of, what was the date? Hold on. My throat is so itchy today. October 29th, 2024. Okay, so this is the Pell interview. What we were talking about earlier was the footsteps, which direction they went near his home. Next to his home was where the footprints were found. That home was recently sold. I believe Don owned that property at one point, and he may be the one that sold it. I covered it in my first live today. Please catch up because I don't really just have the time. This is a long interview. Crystal, do you know of the Wayback Machine? It's an archive of anything ever uploaded to the net, deleted or not, it's still there. No, Kylie, I don't. And somebody mentioned that earlier in my chat this morning, so I'll have to look at it. Cool though, huh? Okay. So let's get this going. So what we're listening for is the 3,500 feet he said he lived, and just the way he describes the day Summer went missing.
Guys, we are back every Wednesday. We're going to put you out a podcast. We've been gone for a while. COVID's really just whatever. COVID what? Who knows? Tired of COVID. Fucking sick of COVID. Anyway, we're back every Wednesday with an episode bigger, better than ever. So I want to take a few minutes to say thanks. If you would, please, wherever you listen, but I know Apple has the ratings, has the reviews. Please take the time to go and give us a rating, give us a review. Reach out to us on email, D-U-H, weekly podcast at Gmail. Send us a Gmail, send us an email. You can find us on TikTok under Jeremy Pell, P-E-L-L, Weekly Podcast. That's the same for Instagram, Twitter. Find us. Let us know you're listening. Let us know you're listening. Also, I'm going to, not every week, but I'm trying to generate money to do the podcast. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to put a link in there, which you can do it through Anchor or however, but Cash App is what I use. I'm going to put a link in the show notes for $5, and we're going to do a bonus episode this week, and it would be a bonus video talking about the case we're talking this week. But anyway, you send us $5, we send you that bonus video. We're going to try to do that maybe once a month to generate a little money to help support the podcast. And we thank you for anything we can get. So this week, we're going to be talking about a case that I know has nationwide coverage, not as much as some, but this case actually hits close to home because this actually happened 300 yards down from where I live in the Hawkins County community of Rogersville, Tennessee, and the disappearance.
I said 3,500. Oh boy, was I mistaken. This really does make sense now. 300 yards. Mr. Pell, I've asked several times over the last 2 years for you to grab a link. You're always welcome to. Your wife's always welcome to. I have questions about the dog fighting you partaked in, that according to Jody Sue Brown, the chicken fighting, according to Jody Sue. I'd like to know more about the Mountain Dew and Crush that you dropped off to Candace and Dawn the day before.
Of Summer, Utah, Moon, Wells. We're going to actually give you in this episode some information that's not out there, and it's not been in the media, it's not been anywhere, because it's firsthand information that we've been able to obtain from Don Wells himself, from the local law enforcement, FBI, TBI, which whom were all over this case. So if you don't know anything about the case, we're going to go through and we're going to talk about the basics of this case. Now, any missing child, it just goes right to the heart, man. It really does. And, you don't see, you see Americans and neighbors come together really strong in a situation like this, where you have a missing 5-year-old girl who had just now recently had her 6th birthday, and she is still missing. So what we know so far, now I want to clarify a few things before I start. Now, I've heard a lot about the community. Beach Creek is a road. It is actually Highway 347 that runs, it's a state road that runs Hawkins County into Sullivan County, which is Kingsport, which is part of the Tri-Cities area. I'm going to give you a little bit of background on the location. This is a Rogersville address. And every time I've heard a podcast, they always give the population at 5,000 and some change. Now that is Rogersville City, okay? Hawkins County is large. It includes Mooresburg, Rogersville, Mount Carmel, Sigornsville, Bulls Gap, parts of Bean Station, all the way up, and it touches into Kingsport, Tennessee, which is Sullivan County. Hawkins County has more than 50,000 people in it. So we're not talking about a missing person from a 5,000 town population or 5,000 county. That's not accurate. Where this is located is technically a Rogersville address, but this is right on the Sullivan County line and is 10 minutes from Kingsport. And their house, Candace and Don Wells and Summer Wells, their house is actually 30 minutes from Rogersville. They will actually do all their shopping, all their whatever they need to do in the Kingsport area, because from where they're located and from where I'm located, it is 10 minutes to Kingsport, which is Sullivan County, which has 50, 60, 70, 80,000 people in it. And it's a large county as well. So this is not, now it is in an area that is secluded. So I've heard all this cornbread mafia. It's the most absurd shit I've ever heard. My wife has lived down here all of her life. I have lived down here 10 years, and I have never heard of the cornbread mafia. 99.9% of everyone down here, they are good, solid, working, wonderful neighbors and Americans. Now, in any area, you've got certain people that do certain things, and you know it. And yes, there's a few bad seeds down in this area, but it is a wonderful, quiet area. It is near the Bays Mountain Planetarium. It's not far from there. So I wanted to clear that up. There is no cornbread mafia. I've never heard of that in my life. There might be 5 or 6 jackasses, and they can barely put 2 sentences together, much less form any kind of a mafia. So that is a myth. That does not exist. That is a lie. And as far as the meth labs and this or that, I've never heard tell of any down here. Now, like I said, there are 4, 5, 6 people that you know up and down this 6, 7 mile stretch of road that's considered Beach Creek. They're dumbasses. They're trouble. But it's like anywhere else. So there is no cornbread mafia. It isn't a town of 5,000, maybe Rogersville City, but you got to understand where this location is and where they're located. And I'll get into more depth into that when we talk about the actual house and how kind of the little girl went missing. But what we know is June 15th of 2021, Candace Wells, which is Summer Wells' mother. Now she has 3 brothers. They're staying at home, and Summer's great-grandmother, or Candace, which is Summer's mom, her mother, lives on the property with them in a camper style / mobile home. So that day, now I'm gonna pull a page out of Sarah Turney's book here for purposes of understanding. Candace Wells is Summer Wells' mom. Summer Wells is a missing 6-year-old girl. Candy is going to be Candace's mother, which is Summer's grandmother. So June 15th, Candace takes Candy and Summer to the ER because of her knee. So they're out in Kingsport. I think it's Indian Panther, Holston Valley. Either way, they're out. So I think Candace tells the story that instead of waiting at the ER, she runs an errand and goes over to a friend's house. Now, this friend has a young man that's friends of the family. They hang out over there for a while. When Candy is ready, Candace, Summer, and this young man, I think he's 15, they go. He goes with them. Now they go pick her up. I think they have to pick up some medicine, so they drop a prescription off at Walgreens. They go to Warrior State Park, which is over off Colonial Drive in Kingsport. I guess they're splashing around in the water there where the paddle boats go. There's pictures, there's video. You have heard rumors that the young man tells a story that Summer slipped, went under, this or that, but those stories have never amounted to anything, and they've never been proven. They go to Sonic. They end up taking this young boy back home. They go to Priceless Foods, and that's where the picture is. You see Summer sleeping in the back with the jugs of milk on their way home. Now, I'm going to tell you something. In this episode, we have spoke to Dawn. Dawn spoke to us a day after this happened. Candace spoke to my wife through Facebook Messenger the day it happened, and while it had just started, and in the middle of the frantic searching, she reached out with a message, and I'll tell you what that said here shortly. We'll get to that. But so now it's 3:34 o'clock. Candace is home. Now home. Okay. Let me explain this to you, because I put a video on Instagram to show you how far off the fucking road this house is. Okay. Beach Creek Road is a country road. It's State Route 347. Not an isolated road. People travel this road. Okay. But it's not a heavily traveled road. It's in the country. Okay. So you're 347. Now you have to turn onto Ben Hill Road, which is a desolate, dead-end road that no one goes down. You have to go down this road maybe 50, 60, 70 yards, turn right up Dawn and Candace Wells' driveway, which is like going up a steep mountain that is rutted out. It is not a concrete, just right on the road, right on the main road. This house sits up on a hill about 100 yards off the main road, off a side road, a dead-end road, a rutted out driveway, and it's covered and surrounded by trees, bushes, weeds, and we're talking about the middle of June. So, Beach Creek Road, isolated. Got to make a right turn onto Ben Hill Road, dead-end road. And then about 50, 60 yards into that road, you take a sharp right turn up a steep driveway up to a house that's surrounded by trees and brush. So they're at home. Candace and Candy are planting flowers. Summer's helping them. Now, Candace's story is Summer wants to go in. She goes in. Her brothers are not wanting to play with her. She goes downstairs. Now, downstairs is not like down a step. It is underneath a cabinet that you open a trap door and climb down a ladder. So she goes downstairs where her room is, playroom. I think Dawn and Candace sleep down there. Now, the story is this. Candace is with her mother, helping her with a knee brace or whatever she's doing.
I had to step away a minute. Let me catch up on chat. But let me tell you, it concerns me the way he gets really offended by Cornbread Mafia, especially when Jody Sue's telling us he is the Cornbread Mafia. Him and his wife, Steph.
Summer is gone inside. 2 to 5 minutes later, Candace comes back in the home, asks the boys, "Where's Summer?" "Oh, she's downstairs." She goes downstairs. There is no Summer. Summer has vanished off the face of the earth. Now, your first thought might be, okay, she's went outside. They check outside. Summer's gone. Now, at this point, we're talking about terrain in the middle of June that you're not going to walk through. You're not going to walk through this terrain. This is heavily wooded, heavily brushed terrain. Now, when she goes missing, Candace states that this is around 6 to 6:30. Now, I remember at around 6:30, somewhere in that neighborhood, I don't know the exact time, me and my children were home. My wife had not made it home from work yet. She was on her way. Now, wait a minute. She gets home, let's see, 6:30, around 6:30, 6:45, my wife arrives home. Now, I see 15 minutes probably after she arrived home. So let's go and put it around 6:45. So we'll say 6:30, 6:45. I see volunteer fire trucks going down the road, like, and they're going, and we see, me and my daughter, she's 12. We see, I don't know, 8 or 10. So it was a lot. So it was alarming. So we're like, we don't wonder what's going on. 8, 10 minutes. My daughter's like, let's ride down and see. Let's ride down and see. So she finally talks me into doing it, and we ride down. Now, as we approach Ben Hill Road, here's what I see. I see a patrol car with a uniform sitting inside the car. That's the only police that is there at this moment. And he is in the car. So he's just kind of sitting and blocking Ben Hill Road. Now, across Ben Hill Road is another road that just does a half loop. And over there is about 15 locals standing and kind of watching and seeing what's going on. Now, of course, through the news, we've learned that she yells at her neighbor. The boys are down at the creek. Don gets his call from Candace. As soon as this happens, Candace can't find Summer. So she calls Don, and Don says, call 911. He calls 911. And we know there's some conflicting stories there, but, the 911 operator says took a walk, but maybe when Don says something, he says, my wife took a walk to her mother's, and maybe not understanding that her mother's, Candy, is Candace's mother, lives on the property. So Don might have said something like, my wife walked to my mother-in-law's, and they got that, misconstrued from that, because the 911 operator does say, and she says the mother says she took a walk. So I think that's where that could have come from. But what we have now is 6:30, 7 o'clock. We've got a missing 5-year-old girl, and we have friends and neighbors and families looking for her. Okay. Now, this goes on all night, the search. And I know at one point in time, this was after dark of the same night that this happened, I go to take my children over to their grandmother's, and the local law enforcement have each road. And I know the Kingsporting end is blocked off and roadblocked. They are searching every car that comes in and out of Beach Creek at this time. We went through the roadblock. They searched everybody. They looked in our car, looked in our trunk. So they had blocked the road off, and the search went on. Now, the story that is mainly told, now the search went on for weeks and weeks and weeks, every night, infrared, helicopter, thousands of searchers. They searched and searched and searched and searched, and there was no sign of Summer Wells. Now, throughout the stories coming up, little things pop up. Don Wells has a domestic assault charge. He got a DUI. He had a gun violation charge. He right now is in jail. He is serving the 2 days for the DUI. The violation of probation from the original gun charge, which was 1129, which tells me it was a misdemeanor. So I don't know what kind of charge it was exactly, like carrying a gun or having a gun while intoxicated, something like that. He's now serving at a minimum 180 days. Don Wells, Summer Wells' father, is in jail now. So there's nothing, but there's really not a lot to tell in this story, except this girl goes missing. People come out in droves and search for her for weeks on end with helicopters, airplanes, the whole 9 yards, and she is never found. The search scales back. The searching stops. They come back out in winter when some of the foliage and the brush has kind of withered off, and they still find nothing. So what the main story that is played out, of course, the location I think is important of the house. You got to understand that this house is isolated and secluded. This house, not only does it sit on a road, Beach Creek Road, that's a country road, you have to literally turn on a dead end road, which is Ben Hill Road, and then go up another 50, 60, 70 yards up a rough driveway to get to their home that sits on the top of a hill that is isolated from everything. So that location, I don't understand. The timing, I don't understand. Candace says that she was only away from Summer 2 to 5 minutes. No one can come up the driveway and get her because it's a one-way in, one-way out driveway. So as the news stories come out, they say that the dogs had picked up a scent and that they had followed.
I was 19 minutes in. I'm going to have to go back to where I was because I just hit a button. But, okay, so Mr. Pell is a neighbor to Summer. You heard him say he lived 300 yards from Summer. So I don't want to dox nobody, but he was very close to what was said to be footprints. Okay. I don't know why. I do have a question for him. I would like to know why he was pushing the fact that that was a dead end street, because it's not. It is, but it isn't. And we spoke about that yesterday. So, Mr. Pell, I do like this podcast. I like the way it ends. I've listened to the first maybe 5-10 minutes of the second one, and I do already have some questions about that one. I don't want to make accusations. Jody Sue spoke about you guys last night. You know that. You knew it was you guys. I know what she said. I don't think the two connect. I know what company she's talking about. She said she thinks I don't. I do. I do have some questions privately about that, if you would like to answer them. I'm not going to bring that out here. I'm not going to talk about it because at this point, I'm looking at it as one has nothing to do with the other. Just so you understand that. And if you listened to Jody Sue last night, you will understand what I mean by that. And only you and Jody Sue will understand that. However, I did like this podcast. As it goes further on, there are some things he clears up about the short that I reshared from JLR. Let's continue to listen. I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of my thoughts here. Okay. So let's continue. We'll start here. I think I was like 9 minutes in. We'll start at 8.
Wales is Summer Wales' mom. Summer Wales is a missing 6-year-old girl. Candy is going to be Candace's mother, which is Summer's grandmother. So June 15th, Candace takes Candy and Summer to the ER because of her knee. So they're out in Kingsport. I think it's any path or Holston Valley. Either way, they're out. So I think Candace tells the story that instead of waiting at the ER, she runs an errand and goes over to a friend's house. Now this friend has a young man that's friends of the family. They hang out over there for a while. When Candy is ready, Candace, Summer, and this young man, I think he's 15, they go. He goes with them. Now they go pick her up. I think they have to pick up some medicine, so they drop a prescription off at Walgreens. They go to Warrior State Park, which is over off Colonial Drive in Kingsport. I guess they're splashing around in the water there where the paddle boats go. There's pictures, there's video. You have heard rumors that the young man tells a story that Summer slipped, went under, this or that, but those stories have never amounted to anything, and they've never been proven. They go to Sonic. They end up taking this young boy back home. They go to Priceless Foods, and that's where the picture is. You see Summer sleeping in the back with the jugs of milk on their way home. Now, I'm going to tell you something. In this episode, we have spoke to Dawn. Dawn spoke to us a day after this happened. Candace spoke to my wife through Facebook Messenger the day it happened, and while it had just started, and in the middle of the frantic searching, she reached out with a message, and I'll tell you what that said here shortly. We'll get to that. But so now it's 3:34 o'clock. Candace is home. Now home. Okay. Let me explain this to you, because I put a video on Instagram to show you how far off the fucking road this house is. Okay. Beach Creek Road is a country road. It's State Route 347, not an isolated road. People travel this road. Okay. But it's not a heavily traveled road. It's in the country. Okay. So you're 347. Now you have to turn onto Ben Hill Road, which is a desolate, dead end road that no one goes down. You have to go down this road, maybe 50, 60, 70 yards, turn right up Dawn and Candace Wells' driveway, which is like going up a steep mountain that is rutted out. It is not a concrete just right on the road, right on the main road. This house sits up on a hill about 100 yards off the main road, off a side road, a dead end road, a rutted out driveway, and it's covered and surrounded by trees, bushes, weeds, and we're talking about the middle of June. So Beach Creek Road, isolated. Got to make a right turn onto Ben Hill Road, dead end road. And then about 50, 60 yards into that road, you take a sharp right turn up a steep driveway up to a house that's surrounded by trees and brush. So they're at home. Candace and Candy are planting flowers. Summer's helping them. Now, Candace's story is Summer wants to go in. She goes in. Her brothers are not wanting to play with her. She goes downstairs. Now, downstairs is not like down a step. It is underneath a cabinet that you open a trap door and climb down a ladder. So she goes downstairs where her room is, playroom. I think Dawn and Candace sleep down there. Now, the story is this. Candace is with her mother, helping her with a knee brace or whatever she's doing. Summer is gone inside. 2 to 5 minutes later, Candace comes back in the home, asks the boys, where's Summer? Oh, she's downstairs. She goes downstairs. There is no Summer. Summer has vanished off the face of the earth. Now, your first thought might be, okay, she's went outside. They check outside. Summer's gone. Now, at this point, we're talking about terrain in the middle of June that you're not going to walk through. You're not going to walk through this terrain. This is heavily wooded, heavily brushed terrain. Now, when she goes missing, so Candace states that this is around 6 to 6:30. Now, I remember at around 6:30, somewhere in that neighborhood, I don't know the exact time, me and my children were home. My wife had not made it home from work yet. She was on her way. Now, she gets home, let's say 6:30, around 6:30, 6:45, my wife arrives home. Now, 15 minutes probably after she arrived home. So let's go put it around 6:45. So we'll say 6:30, 6:45. I see volunteer fire trucks going down the road, and they're going. And we see me and my daughter. She's 12. We see, I don't know, 8 or 10. So it's a lot. So it's alarming. So we're like, we don't wonder what's going on. 8, 10 minutes. My daughter's like, let's ride down and see. Let's ride down and see. So she finally talks me into doing it, and we ride down. Now, as we approach Ben Hill Road, here's what I see. I see a patrol car with a uniform sitting inside the car. That's the only police that is there at this moment. And he's in the car. So he's just kind of sitting and blocking Ben Hill Road. Now, across Ben Hill Road is another road that just does a half loop. And over there is about 15 locals standing and kind of watching and seeing what's going on. Now, of course, through the news, we've learned that she yells at her neighbor. The boys are down at the creek. Dawn gets his call from Candace. As soon as this happens, Candace can't find Summer. So she calls Dawn, and Dawn says, call 911. He calls 911. And we know there's some conflicting stories there, but the 911 operator says took a walk, but maybe when Dawn says something, he says, my wife took a walk to her mother's, and maybe not understanding that her mother's, Candace's mother, lives on the property. So Dawn might have said something like, my wife walked to my mother-in-law's, and they got that, misconstrued from that, because the 911 operator does say, and she says the mother says she took a walk. So I think that's where that could have come from. But what we have now is 6:30, 7 o'clock. We've got a missing 5-year-old girl, and we have friends and neighbors and families looking for her. Okay. Now, this goes on all night, the search. And I know at one point in time, this was after dark of the same night that this happened. I go to take my children over to their grandmother's, and the local law enforcement have each road. I know the Kingsport end is blocked off and roadblocked. They are searching every car that comes in and out of Beach Creek at this time. We went through the roadblock. They searched everybody, looked in our car, looked in our trunk. So they had blocked the road off, and the search went on. Now, the story that is mainly told, now the search went on for weeks and weeks and weeks. Every night, infrared, helicopter, thousands of searchers. They searched and searched and searched and searched, and there was no sign of Summer Wells. Now, throughout the stories coming up, little things pop up. Don Wells has a domestic assault charge. He got a DUI. He had a gun violation charge. He right now is in jail. He is serving the 2 days for the DUI, and he is serving the violation of probation from the original gun charge, which was 1129, which tells me it was a misdemeanor. So I don't know what kind of charge it was exactly, like carrying a gun or having a gun while intoxicated, something like that. He's now serving at a minimum 180 days. Don Wells, Summer Wells' father, is in jail now. So there's nothing, but there's really not a lot to tell in this story, except this girl goes missing. People come out in droves and search for her for weeks on end with helicopters, airplanes, the whole 9 yards, and she is never found. The search scales back. The searching stops. They come back out in winter when some of the foliage and the brush has kind of withered off, and they still find nothing. So what the main story that is played out, of course, the location I think is important of the house. You got to understand that this house is isolated and secluded. This house not only does it sit on a road, Beach Creek Road, that's a country road, you have to literally turn on a dead end road, which is Ben Hill Road, and then go up another 50, 60, 70 yards up a rough driveway to get to their home that sits on the top of a hill that is isolated from everything. So that location, I don't understand. The timing, I don't understand. Candace says that she was only away from Summer 2 to 5 minutes. No one can come up the driveway and get her because it's a one-way in, one-way out driveway. So as the news stories come out, they say that the dogs had picked up a scent and that they had followed it down this hill. Now, here's the first piece of information that no one knows. A few days before Summer goes missing, we are driving down
this part right here. I'm actually very curious to hear more about. Mr. Pell, if you'd like to talk about this, I'd love to hear about this. Okay.
the road coming toward Kingsport from the Rogersville direction. Now, you have to understand the way this is laid out. These hills are steep around Don Wells and Candace Wells' home. And a few days before Summer went missing, Don Wells is out there with a push mower trying to mow this waist-high brush down on this hill down from the side of his house. He's never done it before. It's never been mowed, you can tell. It's never been cut.
Sorry, guys, I stepped away for a second because I was looking for the 911 call so we can get the exact verbiage. The Candace spoke and we can hear how they said the last time Summer was seen was walking away from her home. Because I covered that in my live earlier today. I think it's a 6 minute and 17-second long video. I think it's worth the listen.
You say when you got the original call that mom went on a run and when she came back, the daughter was gone?
Before, that's what the father advised. He's at work about an hour away, trying to make his way home.
Careful.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Bandit Network TV. Welcome back to the Summer Wells case. Let's talk more about the 911 phone call on June 15th of 2021.
That is not what I wanted to show. We'll do this later because you know what? I actually think it was Leslie Earhart that said Summer was last seen walking away from her home. So what I'll do is I'll make a video, or the next time I come live, we'll play the 911 call. Let me write it down. And the walking away from home. We'll go back to Pell because I don't want to get too off. I didn't mean to do that. That was the press conference. That's what I thought. So you know what? Tomorrow when I come live, we'll listen to all the 911 calls to Ben Hill Road that I have. How's that? All right. Back to Pell. I'm not feeling too great, guys, so I'm kind of trying to rush this a little bit. I was live 2 hours earlier, and I feel shitty tonight, so just a fair warning.
So why is Don Wells trying to whack this hillside down and get this brush cut down? I find it odd that several days before his daughter goes missing, this very hill that connects his home to the road, he's up there with a push mower trying to whack and mow this hill. He gets it mowed. He mows the hill down with a push mower. Now, I'm not saying it's immaculate, but what he's done is he has taken a push mower and he has knocked all the high stuff. It's waist high when he starts. He's knocked it all down with a push mower. I find it odd that he mowed that bank. I find the time frame odd, 2 to 5 minutes. Now, it would be different if it was a highly public area. It'd be different if there's a lot of traffic in this area. We're talking about 2 to 5 minutes at a home that is one driveway in, one driveway out, and it is secluded and no one else is around. How far can someone get in 2 to 5 minutes when you're off the main road? Now, the newspaper and some people state that the dogs picked up a scent, followed it down the little hill. Was it the same hill that Don mowed down? I'm not 100% sure where the dogs tracked the hill. But that hill now, this little hill that's once grown up waist high, has been mowed down by Don Wells 2 or 3 days before his daughter goes missing. Is this the same hill the dogs tracked her scent down and then stopped at the road? So you're going to tell me in 2 to 5 minutes someone has parked at the road, walked up this hill, and just so happened.
What's so odd is he should know this. He should know it was the dog trail where they hit. And he should know they hit behind the house on the way to his house. He would be the neighbor that was talking to everybody from the live we heard earlier. Have a spoon of honey for my throat. Yeah, it's not my throat tonight, Marion. I feel like feverish and like a cold. I'm still getting over the laryngitis. It's getting way better, but I'm just not feeling. Grandbabies go to school, they come home, and they bring everything home. Oh, I don't know. This guy don't.
This young girl comes out the basement door and disappears into thin air. That's not a location to where a stranger and a random person is going to say, let's take this country road. Better yet, let's turn on this dead end, secluded road, and let's park right here at the crest of this 75-foot tall driveway hill. It doesn't make any sense. Now, no one's saying anybody got anything because we know, I don't know.
Again, Mr. Pell, I disagree with you. It is not a dead end road. There is a road that starts at Mount Carmel, right across the street, called Simpson Road. That road runs up behind all y'all's houses. It ends at the other side of Ben Hill Road, by Fred Hill's house and Jody Sue's, where the fire pit is. I'm not understanding why it is you're pushing the narrative that that is a dead end road and there's only one way in. That's not true. It's on Google Maps. I am very curious why you push that so hard. Again, I'm not accusing you of anything. I'm just interested in what you had to say.
If you watch Dr. Phil, Dr. Phil had Candace and Dawn on. That's where the whole cornbread mafia thing came up, which I thought was ridiculous. Something else that I'm gonna let you guys in on that no one else knows. The day that this happened, when my wife was coming home, she saw a black 90s model Ford Ranger pull out of Ben Hill Road. And the reason that she...
Okay, so he talks about the black Ford Ranger. When I posted the short, I took it as he was confusing that as the red truck.
And we have since found out the black Ford Ranger actually belongs to Fred Hill, his sisters, and his father. It stays parked up at Chimney Top Loop, right where Dawn was chasing that little girl related to Cotton Simpson.
At this point in the podcast, he does not mention the red truck, but later he does. So he's not speaking of the same truck. This is a different truck that he is claiming his wife seen on that same day, around the same time. Okay?
Paid attention to this is because when the vehicle pulled out, it pulled out in front of her cousin that was coming the opposite direction. So she paid attention to the cousin coming and paid attention, therefore, to the truck pulling out. Now, this was told to law enforcement, and police did come back and say
is what I was
that they found that man,
so that
and that man was buying auto parts in this area. But that's a piece of information no one knows. A mid to early 90s black Ford Ranger driven by a man looking for auto parts around the same time that Summer Wells goes missing. Also, Don Wells mowing down a waist-high bank 2 or 3 days before his daughter goes missing, possibly being the very bank that they tracked her scent down, is odd. The time frame, 2 to 5 minutes of Candace being away from Summer and her going missing, is odd. Yes, it could happen, but I feel like it could happen only in a high-traffic area, not in an area that's so secluded that it would take you 5 minutes just to walk down the driveway. This is not a high-traffic area. This house is off the road. Now, let's get back to, well, those are the 2 points I wanted to add in that no one knows. No one knows about the black Ford Ranger, mid-early 90s black Ford Ranger. Didn't get a description of the man driving. No, it was a man, but police did say that they were able to track this man down, and he was of no help. I don't know. I don't know about that. I find it odd. He said he was buying auto parts up here in this area at that time. I find that odd. And also, something new is the bank thing with Don Wells mowing the bank down, the waist-high bank. I find that odd. Well, that's 2 pieces of information that you don't have, that was never in the media, something we learned hands-on. Now, there's 2 other pieces of information I'm going to give you here, and then I'm going to let you know what our conversation with the TBI, the FBI, and the local departments were on a bonus episode. And I can tell you what they told me and what their insights were. But when we come back, I want to tell you about our conversations with our conversations with Don Wells the day after this happened. He stopped at our house because my wife had sent Candace Wells a Facebook Messenger message. I'll let you know what that said, what Candace said back to my wife, and what Don said when he stopped down here to tell us. Thanks. We'll be right back. All right, guys, and we're back. Like I said, thanks again for listening. But let's go into part 2 here. Now, what we covered in the first part of the episode is just some of the basic stuff. We know what Candace Wells and her mother done that day with Summer. They went to the various places, Sonic, the ER, the Walgreens, the park, Priceless. They were back home. We know she watches Summer go in the house, and within 2 to 5 minutes, she's back in the house asking where Summer is, and Summer's gone. We let you know that around 6:30ish, there was a early models black Ford Ranger seen pulling out of Ben Hill Road. Police apparently talked to him. They come back and personally told us that he was of no interest, and he was marked off the list.
6:30, the black Ford Ranger. Fred's in the area. Jody sees him coming back at 8:30. Jeremy Pell said around 6:30, not an exact time. I feel like he's trying to set Fred up, or he's seen Fred. And if he did, then we have a problem.
I also told you about Don Wells mowing down his waist-high bank several days before Summer goes missing. Is this the same bank that Summer was seen, or Summer was tracked going down with the dogs? We don't know. I don't know. Thousands of people come down here and search for weeks, airplanes, helicopters, and nothing. It's just like this young girl just disappeared off the face of the earth. Now, I'm not going to go into great detail about, like the Candace's sister years ago went missing in Wisconsin. That's an oddity. We know about Don Wells accusing her of having an affair. We know about some domestic assaults, some drinking, having a gun while drunk. We know there's some charges in Utah. So we know Don and Candace have had.
Again, I don't want to get on here and accuse you of anything. That's not my point here, but my subscribers and my viewers have questions for you, so I'm going to share them. And if you want to come up and answer them, you can.
Some run-ins with the law. I don't know that that's relevant, really. I mean, really go into detail about that. It is what it is. I know Don had some strange behavior afterwards. Candace had some strange behavior on Dr. Phil, but you really don't know how you would act in a situation. You just don't. All I can tell you is things that I've seen and I heard, and things that just don't make sense to me. And I'm not saying that anybody's guilty, because no one has been charged with any crime. Don Wells, however, is in jail right now as we speak, at least for 180 days for his past offenses, his drinking, his violence, and things like that. And I'm not saying anybody done anything. I wanted to clear up some issues with the population, the size, the location of the house. Wanted to clear up some things with the Cornbread Mafia. Never heard of it. This area down here is nice and quiet and full of lovely people. I've never heard of the Cornbread Mafia. However, like I said earlier, this location is closer to Kingsport than it is Rogersville. It is a Rogersville address, and everybody always gives that 5,000 people population, and that's the population of Rogersville City. They have their own police department in Rogersville City. This is handled by Hawkins County Sheriff's Department. This is in Hawkins County, about 30 seconds from the Sullivan County line, which is Kingsport. Hawkins County has over 50,000 people in it, and I know Sullivan County has more than that. So we're talking about a large area. But what we discussed in the first part is the home of Summer Wells, Don Wells, her dad, Candace Wells, her mother, is so secluded off the road that it's not only off Beach Creek Road, which is State Route 347. You have to turn onto a dead-end Ben Hill Road and then go about 50, 60 yards and then go up a terribly steep, rutted-out gravel driveway that's surrounded by brush and weeds and trees. Obviously, that one little hill in front of the house going down to the road had been cut down by Don with the mower. We already talked about that. That was one of the things that nobody knew. Now you do. So I want to finish this up, by saying I don't know how someone would act. I don't. I want to say that first before I go into the last part. But we were out here my wife had sent a Facebook message to Candace and said, if there's anything we can do, let us know. Now they had already told us, to be checking your buildings, if you have outbuildings, trail cams and things like that. But she just wanted to reach out and ask if there was anything we could do, let her know. If she needed anything, let her know. Now her answer to me was odd. If a family member or a real close friend had sent this message to you, maybe not. But my wife had never spoken to her. So this will be the first form of communication ever between these two women. And my wife reached out to Candace Wells the day after and said, is there anything I can do? Do you need anything? And Candace's answer was
So that part confuses me too, because earlier on you said you had spoke to Candace that day. Now you're stating that it was the day after. So I'd like you to clear that up if you could. It'd be great. Thanks.
Pack of Mountain Dew. Maybe she needed that for the kids, for herself. I don't know. Maybe it's something they needed. I personally thought that was strange. Now, maybe it's not strange. That's what I'm saying. I'm not passing judgment here. I'm just saying it's strange. So now, like I said, Don Wells stops down the next day, and a few of my workers are here, friends are here, and he stops. And his conversation, although I can't remember it word for word, was odd to me. I'm not saying Christian religion is odd.
So in this part, he states Don came to his house the next day. I guess he stopped there on his way to the Brits, right? Because Dawn also stopped at David Britt's house the next day, and that would be on the path.
but it was more from a place of almost like he was talking like he was at peace, or as long, God, as long as God's got her in his arms kind of comments. And like I said, I don't know what would come out of my fucking mouth if something like that happened. I would be just, I don't know what I'd be. I don't. But he come down to say thanks for sending the message. But his conversation was more from a religious standpoint of, if she's gone, and he didn't come out and say she's this, she's that, she's this. But like I said, these are the first times we're speaking to these people, and you don't know how somebody's going to act. So I'm not bashing them. I'm not at all. I want to give the information that I have, and some of it's firsthand information. So his conversation to me was from a standpoint of trying to comfort, because in his mind, I think he'd already thought the worst. That's kind of what I took from the conversation. She's in a, if blah blah blah, she's in a better place. So God will have her, protect her. Or God's with her, or coming from a church standpoint. Like I said, I don't remember exactly word for word what he said, but the gist of the conversation was a strong religious, like almost like if she is not here on earth, she's with God, basically. And maybe it was odd, maybe it wasn't, because you don't know how you act in this situation. So I'm not bashing him. I'm just telling you fact. This is the type of conversation that he had the very next day. Now I've seen, and keep in mind, I'm gonna reiterate this again. I don't know how I would act, but I've seen, Candace and her mother out, and you can't. I guess you can't live. I guess they're just different. They're just different. Loud, boisterous, always cutting, like loud and laughing. The times that I've seen them out, they're cutting up, and like I said, you don't know how somebody would act. I don't know that she is. You almost feel sorry for her in a way. Obviously you feel sorry for the family for what they're going through, but to have your daughter go missing, and then through the course of this whole missing persons and search, they get like killed by social media. What kind of pressure that would be? That's what I mean. I don't know how to act. And then on top of that, they get their other 3 children taken away, which Dawn comes out and says they're in a better place, because at this time you've got people coming to their house, trespassing on their property. I was out in the front yard. I had people yell at me. Just people kind of got crazy there for a minute, and was coming down from all over the place. But we don't know what happened. Now, law enforcement's not letting whatever information they have really out as far as what they've got. I think this has been more of a really strange case to them, because it's almost like within 2 to 5 minutes, this poor young girl has vanished into thin air off of a mountaintop, really. And it's odd. It's just odd because of the things that I told you. Now, you hear certain things pop up in the news today, but I don't think they have any more than what they had on that day or the next day. The last bit of information that come out that I've seen was the maroon Toyota truck with the ladder rack and the plastic buckets in the back, the white buckets.
So there he states the red truck and the black truck are 2 different trucks. So I had that confused.
Sorry. Kylie, earlier I showed a video of him talking. He has a face. He's not Ernie.
I apologize. That's because creators take videos, they chop them up, and they make them look a certain direction. After listening to this live, I understand it is 2 different trucks.
They're looking for a 98 model Toyota, a red maroon Toyota with ladder rack and white buckets. They say it's a witness to it, possibly, because someone's seen that type of truck in the area at that time. And they've tried to locate that truck for months. And now, they say they haven't, or nothing has come out about it, but maybe they have, because they can't really let the public know too much about what's going on an open and active investigation. But we know we've got a missing 6-year-old girl that's been missing for 6-7 months. June the 15th will be a year. And like I said, I know firsthand what went on here, and the police were here. They searched.
I am not aware of that. However, like I said, I know companies he's associated with. I don't want to put doxing information out there. I'm trying not to accuse. I agree with some things he says. I disagree with some things he says. I don't know how to get my thoughts out on this, okay? Because of things I know and connections and businesses and things like that, because it could make things look a certain way that they may not be, which is why I'm giving him an opportunity to come talk about this. I don't know. know what else to say. I have my own opinions. I would prefer not to speak on them. My opinions come from the second broadcast that he made. I'm not going to share it today. You guys can go watch it. I provided the link. I'm sort of at a loss for words. I'm trying to figure it out as well as the rest of you guys. I just found this stuff a couple weeks ago when I posted the video of his short. Okay, I was unaware of this dude until recently. I think he sounds like another creator who uses lots of derogatory words. So that worries me, and I'd like to find out if that's the same creator. But yeah, let's go.
With, you know, by the time they probably, if this was an abduction, say stranger abduction, or it's got to be, okay, yeah, stranger abduction could happen. I think it's rare that it would happen just because of the location of the house, but being so far off the beaten path. Somebody they know, somebody that they've crossed paths with through the process of whatever they've been into. I don't know that they're straight and narrow. Maybe they kind of dabble in alcohol, drugs. I don't know. Maybe it's somebody they encountered or somebody that's worked with Dawn that knows the house. I don't know. But it would be hard to get up that driveway. It's a one-way driveway up, one-way drive down. So we have to believe that someone was on foot, had a car parked down the road. We have to believe she wandered off. That's it. Or we have to believe that something happened and the parents are hiding something. I mean, that's the only, you've got stranger abduction, you've got family or friend abduction, or you've got she's wandered off on her own, or you've got the mom, dad, or mom and grandma, or mom done something, brothers done something. I mean, you've got, that's the only scenarios. This house is isolated. The time frame that her eyes were off of Summer, the mother, Candace, was 2 to 5 minutes. You're not going to easily just get to this house. Not going to happen. Now, I've spoke to TBI, FBI, and local. And in a bonus episode, or a bonus video episode I'm going to put out on this case, I'm going to tell you exactly what they said and what they were looking for in a bonus episode, and I'll leave the link in the show notes. If you want the bonus episode, we can use the Anchor app to send $5, or we can use the Cash app to send $5, and I'll have all that in the show notes. Once a month, I want to try to do a bonus episode just to try to generate a little money to help support the podcast. So I want, like I said, I want to give you the four things that let's see. The first thing that wasn't out there was several days before she went missing, Summer Wells, Dawn was seen mowing that bank. Waist high stuff with a push mower and stuff you'd have to take a rope, pull the mower back up. 2, the black mid to early 90s Ford Ranger seen leaving Ben Hill Road area around that time. Now, they said they talked to him, he was looking for auto parts. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't, maybe it's none of our business, they think. That was a fact. Fact is, message was sent to Candace on the day of, or right the day after, asking if she needed anything. Her answer was a 6-pack of Mountain Dew. The next day, Dawn come down. I feel like talking to us outside with, to me, a little strange behavior. But like I said, I don't know how I would act. I don't know what would be going through my mind. I don't know any of this. There's just not a lot of information that's out there. So what I wanted to do in this episode is just tell you some of the little things that I came across throughout this investigation that I've not heard anybody else say that I know for a fact is accurate, because unfortunately we live in the area and it's a terrible, terrible, terrible thing. You don't know what to think at this point. And I know that Dawn and Candace have went through hell. I couldn't even imagine. Some people think they've done something. I don't, we don't know. We don't know. But I wanted to, by doing this podcast, I want to give you the basics. I wanted to tell you some of the things that I knew firsthand. And I wanted to get rid of some of the myths, the cornbread mafia, the drug dealers, and the meth labs, and all this shit around here. It's a quiet, nice, peaceful area. You might have 4 or 5 people, okay, like anywhere else. I want to talk about the location. Everybody keeps saying Rogersville. 5,000 people. Okay, yes, it's a Rogersville address, but it's in Hawkins County. It's 30 minutes from Rogersville, 20 to 30 minutes. It is 10 minutes from Kingsport, and their house, where it sits, is not but 30 seconds from the Sullivan County line. It is technically not Rogersville, okay? So there's 50,000 people in Hawkins County. There's more than that in Sullivan County, and they are 30, 40 seconds from the Sullivan County line. Rogersville City is so far from this place, you have no idea. So those are some of the myths that are not accurate. There is not a cornbread mafia. This is not a Rogersville area with 5,000 people. It is a Rogersville address, but it's Hawkins County with 50,000 people, 30 seconds from the Sullivan County line, which contains more than that. So I wanted to give you an idea of what I knew. I hope, you just hope and pray for the best, you know. But I'm going to record a bonus video of my conversations with the FBI, the TBI, and the locals. And I'm going to do that as a bonus. It'll be a pay-for content, Cash App, $5, or you can do through Anchor, or however you do it. I use Cash App. It's just easy for me. $5, and we will email you the bonus video, and it'll be 100% yours to watch. We're just going to do this once a month just to try to generate a little money for the podcast. Summer Wells went missing on June 15th, 2021, and she's not been seen since. And this poor little 5-year-old girl that went missing is now 6, and she's a sweetheart. You see the pictures and your heart breaks. I mean, your heart breaks for the family, the mom, the dad, the grandmother. And I want to reiterate that by no means do we think they're guilty of anything. I just want to tell you what I know. It's just the facts. I mean, I hate that they're going through this on both ends with their daughter being missing, but on top of that, they're getting slammed on social media. But anyway, this is the missing persons case. So Summer Wells went missing, Hawkins County, June 15th, 2021. Google it, look it up if you want more information about it. If you'd like to know what the FBI, TBI, and local law enforcement talked about, what we talked about, then look for the link and send us the $5 and send us an email. And we'll send you the video. And like I said, I'm new to this, so this is all, I may not be doing this the right way. I don't have Patreon or any of that yet. So I'm going to shoot the video, and then you can send me an email at theweeklypodcast@gmail.com. That's DUHWEEKLYPODCAST@gmail.com. And we can get you the video and go from there. But we're just trying to generate a little money to help support the podcast and keep them coming every Wednesday. But we are done with today's episode. Man, I appreciate the shit out of everyone. Let us know you're there. I don't care if it's 50 people, 8 people, 10 people. Let us know you're there, man. We love it. We want to grow this thing. I want to figure out what's entertaining, what people want to hear, but yet you want to be sensitive to the case and to what's going on. It's so hard. It's a balancing act. My heart does bleed for these people, man. I swear to God, it does. I don't want to come off as judgmental or as whatever. I don't. You are innocent until you are proven guilty. And even if someone is guilty, sit down and talk to them. Or, I try to be as kind as I possibly can. But some people deserve to burn, man. Fuck them. Some people deserve to burn. This is the Weekly Podcast.
So what do you guys think?
And what, 2 years later, a year later, I'm going to ask, so what do you guys think? All right, guys, tomorrow I'm going to come on, and I wrote down, we're going to do Leslie Earhart. We're going to do a couple TPI press conferences. All the 911 calls, I have 3 or 4 to Ben Hill Road. And Summers 911 dispatch call. Probably about 11, like the last 2 days. I sort of tend to like that time frame. So I'll see you guys on the flip side. I'm going to go for the night. Good night. I'm going to go rest. Peace and love to you all. Sleep tight. Bye.